we are able to access the different websites at any point of time from different types of system because the particular website is hosted at the web server. Each and every users or multiple user will be provided one physical server for its own company or for its own organization. Dear students, welcome to B.CA classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in computer science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So in this session, we are going to talk about what is web hosting and types of web hosting. Now let us see what is web hosting. Now all of you know what is a website, and all of us we are able to access different types of website of different organization easily through internet. And how it is possible? So it is possible because the website of any company or any organization, it has to be loaded in the server or in the web server. So it should be available in the web server. Through internet, it is possible to access different types of web servers at different locations. So that is the concept of web hosting. So if it now we are able to access the different websites at any point of time from different types of system because the particular website is hosted at the web server. So that is the concept of web hosting. And here web hosting is an online service that enables you to publish your website or web applications on the internet. So here we have to publish our website and our web application in the website or in the web server so that it is accessible through internet. And here when you sign up for a web hosting service, so this is a service, web hosting service. When you sign up for a service, you basically rent some space on physical server where you can store all the files and data necessary for your website to work properly. So what is the concept here is, so here is if you are going to sign for web hosting service or you are applying for any website to be hosted in the web server, so here what the meaning here is, basically they are going to rent, this is they are going to rent some space of physical server. They are going to rent some space in their server for any organization, for any company. So that all the files and data necessary for website to work properly. So it is a concept of renting a space, a physical space in a server to some other company, organization with supporting files. That is the concept of web hosting. Now if you see how web hosting works actually, so if you talk about this is the owner or this is the hosting server, you can look at the diagram here. So this is a server owned by one person. They can be any ISP or internet service providers or anyone who is owning this server. It is the server, we say web server. And here this is World Wide Web, this is internet, and this is the clients or the user. So here user access the server through internet or globally. This is the concept of web hosting, and all the information of any company or any organization, it should be present or loaded inside the space of the physical server here. So this is the concept of web hosting, and here the users, we say the clients, access this information available in the website, we are in the server through internet, and this is a web hosting service. In the next slide, the server that hosts your website is a physical computer that runs continuously to make the site available for visitors all the time. So if I talk about a server, you know what is a server? Server is nothing but a computer or is a system. If I say web server, so it is nothing but is going to hold or is going to store different types of websites along with the supporting files. So it is a physical computer or it is a physical computer that run continuously. So because it is any information in the internet, in the website, it is accessible throughout the day, or it is 24/7. So because of that, the physical server or the web server, it should run continuously at all the time, so that any client or user can access the information at any point of time. Buying a server for web hosting will allow you to store all the data of your website in the server of your provider. Here there are two concepts here. One is provider, means they are the one who is going to provide web hosting services, and here this is a buying server, means this is the customer, or any company's website or any organization. It is a one concept, and this is another one is web hosting service provider. Actually, what they will do, web hosting service provider, they will allow you to store all the data of your website in their physical server with supporting files. Once a user enters your domain name into their browser's address bar, the web host server will transfer all the files necessary to load your website. So here this is one more word is called domain name. So here your website will be loaded in the web host service server with a domain name. So the client or the user, they can access any of the website through web browser. Web browser is a client software. So in the web browser, when the user in the web browser address bar, when the user, if they give the proper domain name, so all the data available in the server will be transferred to the client's computer system or to the client side. That is how your web hosting works. In the next slide, we will see different types of web hosting services. So here one is shared web hosting. So concept is shared web hosting, and look at the diagram here. So in the shared web hosting, the concept here is this is the server of web hosting company. So the web hosting service, they are the provider. They will be having one physical server, and this server is shared by different organizations. So this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. So here in the one physical server of web hosting service company, the one physical server is shared by 3 different organizations of their respective websites. So this is the concept here is one server is shared by different organizations with the respective websites. So here the definition is that with shared hosting, multiple users share the same server resources, including the memory, processing power, and the storage space. So here, if you look at the diagram here, so this is the physical server available here. So this same server, if I say server, it also including memory, processing power, and store space. Everything is shared by multiple users or different organization, or more than one organizations, or more than one users. So that is the concept of shared web hosting. And here, because of its simplicity and affordability, it is an excellent solution for small business and personal websites. So here, this is shared web hosting is advantages for a small business as well as personal websites. So this is one type of web hosting, that is shared web hosting service. Now, what are the pros and cons? Here, pros mean it is a cost effective, ideal for small scale business or websites. Technical expertise is not required, pre-configuration server options, and no need to take care of maintenance and server administration, because it is shared is your all the data or even the physical server is at the web hosting service provider's location. They will take care of the maintenance and administration of different websites. These are the pros. And what are the cons of this service? Minimal access to server configuration, because all the configuration, most of the configuration done by the company or web hosting service company, and increased traffic on other websites can affect your website speed. Obviously, it is shared resources. All the resources are shared by multiple users or multiple organizations. Obviously, there are chances of traffic for accessing the data in the website. So this is the cons. Now in the next slide, we will see virtual private server hosting, that is VPS, another type of web hosting service. So here with this web hosting type, your website also shares a physical server with other users, but the web host creates a virtual partition for each user. The difference between this one and the previous one, that is shared one, is that, and in the shared one, the physical space is shared by multiple organizations or the users. But here, the concept is same, but apart from that, it's going to create a virtual space, virtual partition for each and individual organization or to the websites. Now, VPS web hosting is a great option for medium-sized sites, e-commerce shops, and large blogs with a rapidly growing number of visitors. So this is the advantage of VPS, virtual private server hosting. What are the pros? Here, dedicated server space, and here increased traffic on other website has no impact on your site. See what is the meaning of this? Because it is going to create a separate virtual space for individual websites. Root access to the server and high customizability. And what are the cons of it? Drawbacks of it? Users need technical expertise to manage it, and it has to be managed by the user, and relatively affordable. Some users may have to hire developers to manage the virtual server and increasing the overall cost. So it is not so cost effective as compared to shared web host services. Now look at the diagram of this. See, this is the diagram of, this is how we assume that. So here, these are the users, and here, this is the physical server of a web hosting service company. And here, this is going to create a separate virtual space. This is called virtual. So it is a logical space. It's going to create a logical space for 3 different users or multiple users. So this is the concept of virtual private server. So all physically all the data available in the server. Apart from that, it is going to create one more virtual space for individual user or multiple users. So this is the concept of virtual private web hosting. In the next slide, we will say cloud hosting. So another type of web hosting service is cloud hosting. So here, in this type, it uses several virtual servers to host their sites. Now, in the previous slide, we have seen the virtual hosting. Means it is not a physical space, it's a virtual, a logical space to the individual websites. So here also, the cloud hosting in the means concept is that several virtual servers to host sites. Thus, if one server experiences high traffic or a problem, the remaining ones will take over and maintain the website operating. So this is the advantage of web hosting. So the concept here is, this is, we say cloud. So this is what we say is a cloud, and inside this, they are going to have a different virtual space, virtual place or a space for individual or multiple users inside this. So here all, because it is, if I say it is inside a cloud, means all are interconnected or internal communication takes place. So what is the advantage of this? So if one of the system goes down or the server goes down, experience any problem, so another will take over, and the users or the clients, they do not experience any loss in this type of web hosting service. So here, since the cloud-based web hosting relies on cluster of web server to function, so it is a cluster of web server. If I say cluster is nothing but a group of web server. So inside a cloud, so now you can see a diagram here. So inside this, there are a number of groups of servers available. So groups of virtual servers available. So all these are interconnected, or they can, all the servers can communicate one to one or to each other, so that any system goes down or any of the server goes down, other will take over. And business with multiple websites and large scale sites like e-commerce sites, they can make use of, or they can go for these type of web hosting services. This is cloud hosting. What the advantage of this? Reduce likelihood of downtime and hardware failure, because here it is virtual servers are shared, resources are shared. Because of that, there is no question of downtime of the server. And load balance uses load balancing to handle high traffic and prevent DDoS attack. And scalability, your website is not limited to the resources of single server. So it is possible to access the resources of different server. That's the advantage of this. And what is the cons of the drawback of this? Root access is not available, not always provided. It is more expensive than VPS and shared hosting. This is the drawback of this type of hosting services. Now in the next slide, we say WordPress hosting. Now WordPress, you might have heard it, it is nothing but one of the CMS software or content management system software. So they are providing a hosting services. So this type of CMS web hosting service provides a WordPress optimized server environment to help your website load faster and minimize potential issues. Other type of web hosts still work for websites based on the popular content management system. So this is another type of web hosting services provided by WordPress. And here WordPress optimized hosting plans come with features such as pre-installed themes, plugins, and core functions, caching and security and other tools. So WordPress hosting, it comes with different additional tools for web content management or to the users. So this is another type of web hosting service. Advantage is that low cost, beginners friendly, optimized performance of WordPress sites, customer support team trained in WordPress issues, and pre-installed WordPress plugins and themes. What is the drawback of this? It is not an ideal for non-WordPress website. So this is another type of web hosting service. This is a block diagram of WordPress shared hosting services. See, this is the physical server, and again web server services. So again, it's also a type of virtual space. So virtual space of this particular physical server, and it is shared by multiple users or different organizations. So this is WordPress hosting service. In the next slide, we will see what is dedicated hosting. Dedicated hosting designates a physical server for each website. And by going with dedicated hosting, you can configure the server, choose your desired operating system and software, customize the entire hosting environment for your specification. So what is the dedicated hosting service? So as we have seen in our previous slides, the different types of services. So in all the thing, the physical server is shared by multiple users or multiple organizations. But in this concept or dedicated hosting web service, the concept here is that so each and every users or multiple users will be provided one physical server for its own company or for its own organization. And because of that, the users or the clients have an option of configuring the server with optimization or as per their specification. That is the advantage of this. And renting a dedicated server is just as powerful as having your own site server. So it is one way as good as having a separate web server, but it will be in different location. That's the only difference here. So here the server will be with the client server, the web server will be with the web hosting service provider's location, and your website is hosted separately in their location, and but within the added benefits of getting professional support from your web host. Dedicated hosting is ideal for large online business that deals with heavy traffic. So this is advisable for a large online business services. Advantage of this: complete control over the server's configuration. Now, because entire one physical server is given to or allotted to a particular user or a client or an organization. So configuration is with the clients. High reliability, because only all the data is available with the only one physical server, and root access to the server is possible here. Drawback is high cost and more oriented towards large business. Technical and server management knowledge is required. Now, because it is a dedicated server, so configuration is with the clients or with the users. So the user must be having the technical and server management knowledge to maintain dedicated servers. Now, type of web hosting. So what have we discussed now? Again, we are in the same slide, shared web hosting, and you can observe the diagram here. Server shared by multiple users, virtual private server hosting. Here, the server and is going to create a separate virtual space for individual users or multiple users. And this is dedicated server. In the sense, dedicated service web hosting means one particular server is dedicated to one particular website of one user of one organization. So this is cloud hosting, and here if I say cloud, it is a cluster of servers or a group of servers which works with this type of service. So these are all different types of web hosting services. Now, what are the information for basic web hosting? So one must choose your hosting type. We have seen so different types of web hosting. So first one is we have to select the type of web hosting type. We have to select the type of web hosting service. Next, web hosting provider. We have to look for service provider. As we say ISP, internet service provider. Most of the internet service provider, they also provide web hosting services. And choose a hosting plan. This is you can have by looking at, it is by discussion with the web hosting provider with them. So you can have different plans. They may be having customized plans for different organization. Right? Register a domain name. So this is one of the important concept. And here it is domain name. You know what's a domain name? We say .com is a domain, .edu is a domain, and .org is a domain, and all these things has to be registered through this web hosting service provider. Next one is configure your package option. See, these are all the things to be remembered for or to host a website of your company or your organization. Now we move on to next concept, that is screencasting or screen mirroring. So all of you are familiar with this word screencasting or screen mirroring. You might have tried by using your mobile phone with the smart TV. While if you want to connect or if you want to configure it different applications through mobile, it is possible to do that with a concept of screencasting or screen mirroring. So screencasts are ideal tool for creating quick and effective how to training videos, as they allow you to quickly capture your computer screen. So what is the main concept of this? It is possible to capture your computer screen and microphone, system audio, everything through this screencasting. So A screencasting is nothing but a tool, so it is used to capture your computer system, microphone, and other resources. This is screencasting. And screen mirroring. Another name is also known as screen mirroring and or screen sharing. It is a remarkable technology that wirelessly duplicates the display of your portable devices. So again, it's going to duplicate or nothing but what you have seen in the previous slide. So it's going to capture your computer display or everything. So another word is going to duplicate your display of portable devices such as iPhone, Android, smartphone, etc. onto bigger screen. So you can effortlessly enjoy photos, videos, apps, and so on. So screen mirroring or screencasting is a tool for capturing or duplicate your screen of different devices. And in the next slide, we will see different screencasting tools. These are the Loom and Screencast-O-Matic, Free Screen Recorder, OBS Studio, and all these are different screencasting or screen mirroring tools. Next one is, what is multimedia content? Now you know what is a content. We have learned in our first session. So content is nothing but information, and we know different types of information. And also we have learned what are the policies or norms to be followed for web content development. Now let us see what is multimedia content. It is also a type of information, is a type of content. Also refers to combination of various media elements such as text, images, audio, video, etc. interagreement to deliver information or entertainment in a dynamic and engaging format. So multimedia content is nothing but it's a type of format. It includes more than one format, like your content might be in the form of text or images, audio, video, or a combination of all these things refers to multimedia content. And actually there are 5 basic elements of multimedia information or a content. They are text, images, audio, video, and animation. All these are the elements of your multimedia web content. Next concept is multilingual content. Means it is a creation of information available in different languages, almost all the languages, for the benefit of different types of users. So it is the information available in multiple languages is the concept of multilingual content. Next one is, what are the applications of multimedia tools? Now let us see the applications of that. Conferences, training, advertisement, promotion, product, and these are all different applications of multimedia content. So here we have different multimedia tools. This is Video Scribe, GIMP, the non-project, Canva. All these are the different multimedia tools so that we can create multimedia content. Students, so far in this session, we have discussed about what is web hosting, types of web hosting, and definition like multimedia content and screencasting, screen mirroring, and so on. So in the next session, we will talk about what is a wiki site or how to create a wiki site. Thank you very much.